But at the end of the day, we were most impressed with the Stax team for three reasons. The first of which, the combination of business and technology expertise. So we didn't want a pure technology firm that was going to be more, kind of just more about the technical aspect. We needed a firm that also understood the strategic use of data, and Stax effectively brought resources that could operate at the intersection of business and technology. The second was around the private equity orientation and roots of Stax. It's a group of people who understand what it's like to be in the trenches and the pressures that come with private equity, especially the need for pragmatism, flexibility, and hard work. So, really results focused, understanding that we needed to show value for this project quickly, and that was really evident in the scoping process, and it's been very true throughout the engagement. The third reason, the partnership. What I was really proud of is last week, our CEO said to me that he's now fully convinced of the need for master data management. And so I think, kind of across the company, we're turning skeptics into believers. And it's really powerful to just see the groundswell for data-driven decision-making. And I think the roadmap process was really helpful for our functional stakeholders to kind of see that this is hard work. I think some of them were expecting or hoping that there would just be magic, that you bring somebody in and tomorrow you've got a data set. And I think what it really brought to life for them is that they need to think about their functional processes, optimizing those processes, and then letting the data support that rather than the other way around. The Stax team did a really good job of using unbiased scoring methodologies, kind of letting the data speak for itself. And then, as we got into the scoring of, use cases along different dimensions, just having cross-functional engagement around the scores, the rankings, and then letting people push back and ask questions. And I know there are a number of difficult conversations, but the team was always cool, calm, and collected in terms of navigating those. I would say we're already creating some power users now. Our product management group, the sales team, M&A and strategy functions are already using the data we have thus far from this engagement, as well as our private equity owners. They've also been digging in. And so there's a lot more insight into the company's portfolio, which I know is something that our owners have really been searching for and have wanted for some time. So they're starting to see the light here. And what's enabled all of this is, Stax kind of came to us in phase 2 and said, rather than a big reveal, we can create interim iteration before we get sort of the main solution set up that would allow us to start to generate insights. And that's been a critical part of this scope of work being really, really valuable, because people have been able to see along the way the results. They've been able to play with the data. We have a lot of holes in our data, especially with respect to understanding on a SKU level which markets those parts are tied to. And the Stax team did a really nice job of finding external databases that allowed us to plug some of the holes in the gaps, so we didn't have to do line by line by line by line manual mapping. There's certainly some of that, but the Stax team was able to really supercharge our ability to get more insight into the data quicker than had we done it the brute force way. But I think it changes the discussion about a month, a quarter, a year, what the prospectus looks like for the company. It changes it from, gut feel and experience to objective fact and data. I do think that piece, the really the focus on objective facts is the biggest value to both to Charles Bank and to Tecomet. I think we're kind of aligned in what we want to see. And the engagement at the board level has really changed as a result of this data and using the interim solutions to talk about market trends, sort of where we have white space for growth, where maybe current parts of the portfolio would be ripe for profit improvement activity. But from when I joined to now, we're having way more specific and fact-driven conversations, and I think that's really exciting. The company grew via acquisition, and there was really no master data management in place, which is a typical story in many companies like this. But I think this will give us a competitive advantage to have, in a way, to understand the businesses that we're operating with in this B2B environment maybe better than some of our customers do, and have insight into the end market trend. So I think, all of that is going to allow us to be proactive instead of reactive in growth. So to be able to see growth slowdowns coming in parts of the portfolio, to focus the sales team in those places if necessary, to understand where we have really high and profitable growth. It'll just allow us to be a lot more precise around where we're putting our chips for growth. And ultimately, as we grow and likely do acquisitions in the future, being able to integrate them into this common way of looking at the market and the business will be important and help to accelerate the post-merger integration process with any new companies that we bring into the Tecomet family.